What's up everyone? Today I have another small Amber video for you guys. As some of you may know, I took the liberty of building C0 Amber on my free-to-play account a while ago, and I figured since I just got some pretty good upgrades for her, I'd share my new thoughts on how to build Amber without any constellations. Instead of being a full-on build guide like my other videos, this one will specifically focus on the 3 free-to-play weapon options and the 3 to 4 artifact combinations that you want to build on Amber. I'll compare the pros and cons of the Favonius Warbow, Prototype Crescent, and lastly the new Windblume Ode, so you can get an idea of which bow is the right bow for you. After that, I'll cover which artifact combinations you want to focus on getting with each bow. But before that, I'll quickly showcase my Amber's damage and her new build. It's nothing much, but since the last Amber video I made, things have improved tenfold in my opinion. Without further ado, let's go see some baby free-to-play numbers. Alright, so first things first, let's just get the limit testing for Amber's damage out of the way. Staying true to the free-to-play lifestyle, I actually haven't been able to pull a single Bennett on this account, so the ceiling for Amber's damage is not as high as it can be. Similar to how I cannot pull a Bennett on this account, I know some players have not been able to pull Sucrose on their account, who I have on my team right here. So to show you the true free-to-play damage, I'm going to show Amber's damage first with just Chongyun for natural melt damage, and Chongyun can easily be replaced by Kaya, you just need a Crow unit. Then after that, I'll add Sucrose in for the extra elemental mastery and pyro resistance reduction from the Viridescent set to see how much we can improve Amber's damage artificially. Also note that we have Xin Yan in here for the Pyro Resonance, which gives us 25% extra attack. First, we're just going to use Chongyun's ability, then instantly charge attack the Ruin Guard. This gets us a little bit over 23k melt damage, which is not too bad honestly, but it could definitely see some improvements. Now, if we do the full setup with Sucrose as well as utilizing the Windblume Ode passive, the number should skyrocket. As you can see, we charge attack for over 38k melt damage compared to just the measly 23k before. This is a really nice improvement and I'm pretty satisfied with it. Now as for my build to get these numbers, I still only have a level 80 Amber, but now she's past her final ascension as opposed to being stuck at level 80 out of 80. For her attack and EM, you can take a look at the stats right here. If we go deeper into her stats, we can take a look at her crit rate, crit damage, energy recharge, and lastly, pyro damage bonus. As for her weapon, we have the R5 Windblume Ode from the current event, and this weapon has given me so much freedom with Amber. A lot of people were pointing out that previously I had Rust on her, and I know it sounds counterintuitive, but that was my best option at the time. Anyways, now I've delegated Rust over to Fischl over the Compound Bow, and I've moved Favonius over to Diona, leaving Amber with the Windblume Ode. This weapon is phenomenal for her as a free-to-play option in my opinion, and I'll go more into detail about that when we start comparing weapon options. Moving on to my Amber's artifacts, I've got her on a 4-set Wanderer's Troop. As for the substats, we can take a look at the Flower. This is the Feather. This is the Hourglass slot, the Goblet slot, and lastly, the Headpiece slot. As for constellations, obviously from the thumbnail, I still have a C0 Amber, and as for talents, we have 8, 6, and 6. Alright, let's talk your current free-to-play weapon options. As I said before, these 3 options are the Favonius Warbow, Prototype Crescent, and Windblume Ode. I know there are some 3-star weapons that a lot of people like to run on Amber, for example the Sharpshooter's Oath, but for the sake of this video I'm going to be comparing the 4-star weapons side by side as I want that to be the focus of the video over the 3-star weapons. So the Favonius Warbow is your weapon option if you're running a support Amber. If you want to spam her burst, it's extremely hard for Baron Bunny to generate energy without C2, so Favonius Warbow serves as an artificial energy source that is most definitely needed. Don't run this weapon on a main DPS Amber if you have other options, because the damage is even worse compared to when I used Rust on Amber. The Prototype Crescent is a nasty weapon, especially if you can get refinements. The amount of attack that you can get is ridiculous from this weapon, and this is your go-to for Amber as a main DPS. Before the 1.4 patch, I would say that you could pick this weapon up for support as well, but now that the Windblume Ode exists, I think this weapon should strictly be used for a main DPS Amber. Lastly, with our shiny new toy, I think the Windblume Ode might be Amber's new best free-to-play option, with the caveat of needing the correct support. If you have Cryo or Hydro support, this new weapon is a blessing for Amber players. It's everything she wants outside of a little bit of energy recharge. If you're using Amber as a multi-purpose unit, this is your go-to weapon. Hopefully that gives you guys a better idea on which weapon to pick for Amber, and next I'm going to go over the artifact sets you want on Amber depending on which weapon you decided to pick. If you picked the Favonius Warbow, you're looking to spam your burst. With this in mind, our 2 sets for Amber are either the 2-set Crimson Witch of Flames with the 2-set Noblesse Oblige, or simply just the 4-set Noblesse Oblige. The 2-set combination is for maximum damage, and the 4-set is for more team support. If you picked the Prototype Crescent, I'm assuming you're going to be building a main DPS Amber. And if this is the case, your 2 options are going to be the 4-set Wanderer's Troop or the 2-set Crimson Witch of Flames with the 2-set Gladiator. Both of these sets will provide benefit to your aim shots. Since the Prototype Crescent offers a lot of attack naturally through its passive, I like to lean towards the 4-set Wanderer's Troop when using this bow. If you picked the Windblume Ode, anything is fair game. The 2-set Crimson Witch of Flames and 2-set Gladiator is probably the most flexible, since its benefits carry over from both a support Amber to a main DPS Amber and vice versa. When your Amber leans more towards a main DPS over a support playstyle, you can run a 4-set Wanderer's Troop, and if your Amber leans more towards a support playstyle over a main DPS playstyle, then either combination of the 4-set Noblesse Oblige or the 2-set Noblesse Oblige with the 2-set Crimson Witch also works. Artifact stats are really simple and stay constant over any Amber playstyle. Every Amber playstyle wants attack percent in the Hourglass, pyro bonus damage in the Goblet, and crit rate or crit damage in the Headpiece. If you're a main DPS Amber, your substat focus should be crit damage, crit rate, attack percent, elemental mastery, and lastly energy recharge. The order of substat priority switches up a tiny bit for a support Amber, where energy recharge percent is now at the top, followed by crit damage, crit rate, attack percent, and elemental mastery. With that, everything regarding the updated free-to-play Amber build guide should now be done and dusted. So what's the final verdict regarding Amber? Well, my thoughts really haven't changed, honestly. As I said last time, Amber is a unit you should build because you like the character. With the slow churn of content that miHoYo has right now, the most enjoyable thing to me, outside of the main event of the patch, is definitely building up new characters. You build Amber because you like her as a character, and it's that simple. Don't listen to the people who hate on these free-to-play units like Amber and Lisa because they're trash or whatever. Although the reality is that some characters are more useful than others, every character in the game is useful in some way, and you should build characters to have fun. With the new Windblume Ode, Amber is realistically so much more easier to build than ever, and I personally support any fellow Amber players out there. Those are my closing thoughts, so with that, if you found this one useful, be sure to support both the video and the channel, and other than that, I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace.